Grove. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yes, you know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go to the pen. Mr. Clark is a lawyer, he could last stream. He's the first man to prove that water run upstream. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yes, you know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go to the pen.
What's going on, my fishy friends? We are excited to have a special episode. We've been kind of throwing these in here a little bit. Usually the Crazy Horse Fishing Hour has been a winter only kind of deal, but we've been trying to stay on top of what people want to see and plug in shows as your interest sees fit. Tonight we have with us we have Brad Taylor and Adam Corry of the Tangier Classic fishing tournament. CL Marshall, the guy that the awesome captain that does the Lower Bay Fishing Report for this channel, chimed in on one of the posts today, and I thought he put it, perfectly. He said it is the White Marlin Open of the Chesapeake Bay, and Tangier Classic has only been around for a few years, and we'll let Brad and Adam talk about that. But they've made some huge strides in a very short amount of time. What's going on, Short Sharp? How are you, sir? We always choose a sponsor to highlight on every show, and tonight I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Backyard Custom Rods. Steve Fogel makes one heck of a fishing rod, and in fact, I'm going this week to meet him when we can figure out a way with school starting, getting kids to school and all that, to get a new kind of heavier stick, more of like a redfish, bull red cobia stick. But, nice. Yeah. How are you tonight, Lady C?
I'm okay. Okay. Nice to see Shore Sharp on here. I'm sure we'll see other familiar names. I'm really excited about this show, actually, because it's much more than a tournament. I like to kind of give a rundown of who are people we're having on our show and just give a little bit of background about them. So Adam Corry is the secretary for the Tangier Classic. He also is ambassador for Heroes on the Water, which I don't know about you, I love.
Big
Heroes
props.
on the Water for sure. He's also in his full-time job. He's like an engineer, keeping the waterways clean and keeping our resources alive and well, which is also very important to us on this show. He is also, he plays a mean game of golf, I hear.
Never been my sport.
It's hard. Golf is hard.
I've never been able to get the fact that it's people that are good at golf, they're like, you got to swing with your hips. I'm like, what are you talking about? You swing with your arms.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's never worked out well for me.
All right, but
not good.
Brad is the president of this tournament. Very important. He is an outdoorsman, an avid angler, and he also is king of the grill, I hear. So we'll hear more about that when we have them come on here.
King of the grill.
Yes, but also more than the tournament. These gentlemen are really passionate about giving back to the youth and the community. Aside from the tournament, they're always working on fishing derbies for children. They do teach and fish. They do cookouts with the grill. They do a whole bunch of stuff, including fun things like cornhole tournaments, which I'd be interested in getting in because I love that game.
Yeah, this tournament will be held on the 23rd to the 25th. It's in its fourth year.
Yeah, right on.
Running it out of the American Legion in Crisfield. I don't have anything else to say. Let's bring.
I'm getting excited because I saw the videos on their website and it gave me goosebumps. So let's bring them in.
And what's going on, Brad and Adam?
How are you? What's happening, guys?
Not much, man. And from our earlier conversations, and if I understand correctly, you guys are also a government certified nonprofit, right?
Correct. We are a full-blown bona fide Nonprofit. Yes, sir.
And that's what, 501c3? Is that what it is?
So it's under that.
501c3, and then there's a whole bunch of other
Yeah.
subclasses, I guess you would call it, beyond that. But yeah, and
Yeah.
and making it simple is 501c3.
I did nonprofit work for a long time, so I really appreciate that you guys are sort of taking that angle with this tournament and making a lot more about a lot more than a fishing tournament. But let's hear from you guys. What's Cool.
Okay, then we do the prize later.
We'll do the prize later.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So tell us about the Tangier Classic. Tell us what it's all about.
So it kind of got started. We had been involved with some other tournaments, and we kind of beat the idea around of doing our own thing. And after taking a year off, there's 8 or 10 of us got together, and we had a meeting down at my house, and just decided, let's just do this. And it just kind of took off from there. It got going a lot quicker than we ever really imagined. It started out as a small idea, turned into a pretty successful first year. But obviously our main goal and our mission statement, not quoting it, but is to help children in need in our local community. Whether it be, in Chrisfield, like our first year, or, Lane Dotson was in Chrisfield, really just anywhere on the shore. It doesn't have to be a specific area necessarily, but we put out an application, people apply, and unfortunately we have to pick somebody every year. It's a very tough process, but we pick the kid that we think is the most deserving based on our mission statement and things that we've come up with over the years of, to choose these people, and we do our best to raise as much as we can for them.
Well, that's great stuff.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we'll get into all that later. Just a personal note. Adam, I met Adam actually several years ago at a kayak, the first fish and paddle kayak tournament in Ocean City. I had really just started a YouTube channel, and I was there, and I hadn't had my Wilderness Systems kayak all that long, and somebody was like, and I was having a problem with the steering, and somebody was like, "Oh, you got to go talk to Adam. He's the wilderness guy." And man, you came out and gave me a lot of your time, and I never forgot about that. And I think that says a lot about the person that you are, that you're not only an avid fisherman, but you're always there to lend a helping hand. You didn't know me from Adam. Well, from no pun intended.
Right.
And you gave me a good bit of your time. So,
yeah, man, that was a great time meeting you there, man. And you were all over the place that weekend for that tournament. I remember you were putting some serious mileage in on that. You had it was a radar one, or no, it was a
radar, yeah,
Ride 135.
Wow, you got a good memory.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, dude, you were putting some miles against that Ocean City current. That's no joke down there.
My knees were struggling after that thing.
I bet.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, we've really taken and gotten super successful in the first 3 years. Year 4 is we're right coming up to it here, obviously, with the 23rd, not very far away. And beyond what Brad just talked to you about as far as the beneficiary is concerned, we've been able to spread the love all over the community. We do focus the headquarters and location of our tournament in Chrisfield, but it really focuses that important influx of tourism dollars and all that into the area.
Sure.
Local restaurants, Airbnbs, James Island State Park, everybody benefits from it. And then we're able to spread the love with the sponsor dollars that we have to, local fire, fraternal order police, a whole bunch of other nonprofits that we support. And it's been really, really successful so far, man. We're super happy about it.
Well, I know you guys are, both humble dudes, but let's talk about some of these sponsors. You guys have been able to pull some pretty big names in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming at times. I'm not sure the exact number we're sitting at. We just had 2 more come in today, but it's somewhere in the 115 sponsors range, which is a couple more than last year. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around at times. I know we're in the $50-some thousand at this point range. So obviously we've got a lot of costs associated and stuff like that, but that is the reason we're able to do this. If it wasn't for them, you know, a lot of that sponsor money is directly going straight to our beneficiary.
Yep.
You know, we take 50% of all registrations that goes to the beneficiary. All the stuff that we raise at the tournament itself, and we do, like you said earlier, roadside chicken cooks, that money is donated as well. But all that stuff is possible. The fact that we could even get a grill to make things easier and be able to do these things throughout the year is all thanks to our sponsors. But yeah, like you said, we got some good ones in Yeti and Grizzly and
yeah, this year Johnson Outdoors came in with Minn Kota and Humminbird.
Yep, White Marlin Open.
The White Marlin Open sponsored us.
Yep.
We got captains from Wicked Tuna came in this year. We got was it Hard Merchandise?
Hard Merchandise
and Little Shell.
Little Shell, yeah.
Both of those captains came in with trips they're donating that'll actually be in our auction. We got a lot of other offshore rigs out of Ocean City that are putting in trips.
Yep, Rochambeau.
Yeah.
Several captains in the Chesapeake. You got Beach to Bay. Several, lots of them.
Yep.
And all of that stuff turns into more money for us to donate. You know, stuff that we can auction off and things like that. But we have just an unbelievable amount of local support. 2 car dealerships. I mean, the list goes on and on.
And guys, you're in year 4.
You got it.
4. I mean, guys, you're crushing it. I mean, Pat's on the back. I mean, you guys are really getting after it. That's good stuff.
Yeah, we put a lot out there for our sponsors too. Well, you're wearing one of our sponsors' hat there, Crazyhorse, Hook Optics. Yeah, man, they're with us. You mentioned Backyard Custom Rods. I mean, we put a lot out there. Like when you go to our Facebook page, I mean, if you're at a certain level sponsorship, you get to see my face on all these videos that we do for Facebook, which are a lot of fun. And we do have a bloopers reel this year, by the way. But yeah, man, I mean, we really, because of the love they give to us, we want to give it back. So we make sure they get a high level of exposure on Facebook, on our brochures, our T-shirts, our banners, pumping them up to make sure the community is aware. Look at these folks that are coming into the fold to help us put on our show. And that's what it's really about. And we've been super blessed to have that, no doubt.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. I love the common purpose though, right? Giving back. It's not just about fishing. And I say this all the time, but it's, you know, I think it's beautiful when we get to talk more about, you know, some of the things that you're doing for this one particular young lady that's really powerful. I watched the video, I seen the photos, and I'm gonna need tissue. But yeah, it's just really great to have everyone come together. I was watching one of your videos, and people are coming from different states.
That's right.
That's amazing.
When Little Shell contacted us, and I don't know who they're referring to, but you know, they're obviously out of, I think, Wanchese, North Carolina, but they actually had friends that came to them and was like, hey, you should contact these guys and get behind them. I didn't ask who, but you know, somebody all the way down there that had fished our tournament, and actually they made it sound like multiple friends. So you know, I'm not sure who it is, and thank you if you're listening. But it's pretty neat to see everybody come far and wide. So I know we've had Pennsylvania. There were lots of people from everybody. You guys, Delaware, Virginia, lots of people from Virginia. Yeah, I'm not really.
Who's the farthest? We don't have a contest.
We should probably look into that. Yeah.
Well, we do a little thing here on the Crazyhorse Fishing Hour where we give away a prize. I think every episode we've ever done with this.
Yep.
And you guys have donated some pretty awesome prizes. But here's how it works. The best question of the night, Brad and Adam are going to choose that question. They've already been advised of the task at hand. But let me go ahead and kind of preface this a little bit. Brad and Adam are not only tournament directors. So if you ever wanted to get into that's these guys are a huge wealth of knowledge. They're blown out of the park in year 4. They're among them kayak anglers, kayak pro staff. Brad, Adam, are you still kayak pro staff for Wilderness?
No, man, got a little too busy with the real job, but yeah, I did that for 9 years.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, they do it all. They're outdoorsmen.
You guys do it all. Outdoorsmen,
Hunt.
offshore,
Yeah.
inshore, hunt. So you got a wealth of knowledge here to ask these guys. It doesn't just have to be about the Tangier Classic. It can be. But really, question of the night will be chosen by Brad and Adam. They'll choose it at the end of the night. And let's look at those prizes. Show us what you guys got.
Oh,
Well,
we don't actually have them in hand. They're being printed
That's
as we
right.
speak. But yes, we have a new hat design this year. It's a thin red, thin blue line,
just like
Tangier
the,
Classic hat. It's a black hat with a gray mesh in the back, and then it's red and blue as our logo. It's pretty cool looking. You can find a not so great picture of it on our website. And then we'll give you an option of one of a couple different shirts that we can donate, or we could even replace it with a sweatshirt. But they're all performance, nice shirts. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten them in yet, but that's what we were going to do: a hat, sweatshirt, or shirt. So
Nice.
No, the apparel you guys are putting out. I mean, from the looks of it, it looks like it's its own line. Like,
man, I'm telling you, we're heavy on the swag, man. And I'll tell you,
every year we try to add a couple things.
Yeah.
I think we've got 4 different hats right
Right.
now. We've got our normal sponsor shirt, which changes color every year. We don't like to change it up too much, but we got so many sponsors we can't do but so much. So we just change the color every year. And then we have a plain shirt that's just got our logo on it, and then we've got 2 sweatshirts. I think we might still have some buffs left over from the middle of the COVID tournament.
That was one way to get around that, just make some more swag, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's about it right now, but we got a pretty good selection going. So,
and one of the coolest things is, and I think everybody in the committee has said this quite often. I mean, we just talking to each other internally. It doesn't matter where you go, like grocery store, walking around downtown Ocean City, the boardwalk or something like that, or looking at somebody posting their latest pic of a fish they caught this weekend. Everybody's got a Tangier Classic hat on. It's crazy.
We saw a Tangier Classic hat down a shirt rather in Ocean City a couple weekends ago, and then down at the Crab Derby we saw a guy with the original hat on that we only did for 1 year, and he had that on this weekend. So that was pretty neat.
Just to give you guys an idea of the range of this show, we got Captain Marwin Massa from South Georgia chiming in. What's going on, Captain Massa? And I also wanted to highlight real quick Robert Lombardi. We try, Lady C and I try to stay on top of things and come up with current events that people are going to want to watch. But this one just just totally slipped by. And Robert reached out to me one day and he was like, "You guys should reach out to the guys at Tangier Classic." And I'm like, "Of course we should."
Yes.
So it was kind of Robert's idea that made this happen. But Robert just wanted to chime in and said, "Glad you guys made this happen. I fish the Classic every year, and the event is an absolute must. It's great and a great event for kayak anglers."
Yeah, absolutely. And Robert's a good dude. And again, kayak fam. I mean, I got to give my plastic family plug when I get a chance, man. It's a different breed of the niche inside the angling world. But our kayak division is strong. We have powerboat, kayak, and kids.
I think we had 30 some kayaks in that first 10-day early bird. So and that's the most we've had in that short amount of time.
In this year's early registration is what Brad's saying. Yeah. So I mean that really shows you we could have a blowout this year for our kayak division, which is cool. And,
and I would argue, that Chrisfield area between that and I don't want to get into a Virginia-Maryland war here, but Chrisfield and that Kiptopeke area both are, among the best for kayak fishing on the bay, in my opinion.
And that's not that it necessarily is about kayaking, but that area, the Chrisfield area in general, is great because last year we had some real bad wind.
Yeah.
You can still fish.
Right.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go around the corner and there's another creek to get up, and it weather dependent. It's not as weather dependent, I should say. You can, especially in a kayak where they can launch anywhere, they can go pick a side of the road somewhere and get tucked up somewhere that they can still catch some really nice fish and actually arguably some of the best fish in the tournament probably. So that whole area lends itself nicely to kayak fishing and also boats and as well. Overall, it's just a great. I mean, who doesn't like fishing down there, really?
I love it. I've done it multiple times, at least once a year. Good stuff. We do have a question coming in from our buddy Shore Sharp,
I like
good
to read
friend
it.
of the channel. Go ahead.
Thank you. Did you guys know Scorchies Taws?
Scorchy. So it's pretty cool. Scorchy is Andrew Tall's grandfather, and he's been passed, but Scorchies tournament that took place down in Chrisfield ran.
Andrew Tall is being Outdoors Delmarva.
Right. Yeah, Outdoors Delmarva, WBOC.
Another big sponsor.
Another big sponsor of ours. They're actually our official media sponsor. So he kind of took over for his grandfather because his grandfather had Scorchies Corner on WBOC when we were growing up and way back when.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got VHS videos of my grandfather being interviewed by Scorchy Talls at a huge hunt club way back in like 1981 or something like that. But anyhow, he was a local legend, no doubt about it. The tournament down there, I think
I never fished it. I was a little too late to the scene. I think
I can't remember when it ended, but it's been a while.
It's been a good while. I mean, it was definitely going on when I was fishing, but I was pretty young at that point. So I never fished it. I never met Scorchy myself, but I know a lot about him. Seen a lot of clips. Every week on Outdoors Delmarva, they show a new clip from the original show that was that Scorchy hosted. So it's kind of neat to have the connection there.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, you think about it. Before there was the internet, before there were cell phones, YouTube, podcasts, all that. The only way that people knew all these other wonderful things that went on in Delmarva, right? And Scorchy's call sign or phrase or whatever you would say, he would say, "Wandering our Delmarvalous land" for WBOC TV at the end of every episode. If it weren't for him putting that out on WBOC News again and VHS tape before any other like internet and stuff like that, that's how people found out about what happened on the Eastern Shore. And they were he wouldn't just do hunting and fishing. He'd do all these things. He would do farriers. He would do muskrat trapping. He would do local fairs and stuff like that. It was a really, really cool show.
A lot of duck carving. I feel like I remember seeing a lot of that. So.
Absolutely. So that's a great question. Great question.
Good stuff. That's got a little bit of Eastern Shore history there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that region, obviously going back to, hundreds of years back is rich in history. Got another question coming in. We're stretching the range of the show even further. Got our buddy Eloy from Cape Corral's Jupiter Kayak Fishing down in Cape Coral, Florida. Yes.
Could you try to summarize the process it took to be sponsored by a kayak company? Pro or cons, how long were you fishing before you were sponsored? I wish I could make that tournament. Yeah, that would be great if E was on that tournament. He would knock it out of the water.
He'd be a contender, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's no reason why he can't come fish the tournament, I mean, Michael Jordan makes his way from Jupiter, Florida to the White Marlin Open every year pretty much. He can come up here, right? Get on a plane, make it happen, man.
Eloy Custodio, Michael Jordan, I don't see a difference.
Okay. All right. But to be honest with you, that particular question would take its own show, to be honest with you. Summarizing that process, frankly, that was, and I'm going to make it real short, that was just me being involved with my local kayak shop for probably since I was 15 or 16 years old. When kayak angling first started to explode, this is probably close to 20 years ago, before it really got big. I was going to West Marine and Ace Hardware and putting crap on the kayak that they didn't make for kayaks. This is before Yak Attack and all that, but I always helped my local kayak shop. And then one day they introduced me to their regional sales manager for the Atlantic and Mid-Atlantic. And they were like, "Hey, would you be interested?" And that rest is history. That's a very lucky thing. These days, there's so many different ins and outs to it, and that whole pro staff game. You get on any of the kayak fishing groups, and you'll see that there is a wide variety of pros, cons, and everything else to that. So, and Jeff Little, I know you know Jeff Little. He was my pro staff manager for the first 5 or so years. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, he's was wilderness systems for a long time, and now he's at Torquedo.
Yep.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. One of your sponsors chimed in from Anglers Arsenal, Maryland. He said, "3rd year sponsor for this tournament, and this is the best tournament I support. Keep up the great work, guys."
Aw,
Thanks, buddy.
yeah.
Appreciate that.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I'd like to get into something really important, which we talked about earlier, about kids. You know, I don't know if you watched any of our other shows. I'm huge when it comes to kids. I have a child of my own, and so does Grant. So I'd like to talk about September being Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know if you worked that out where it just happened to be in the month, but
Can't say we planned that, but
Okay.
it's kind of worked out. Yeah, I think. Well, actually, I guess the first one and the first beneficiary now Lakeland both have cancer. The second one was cancer-like, but it wasn't technically a cancer. And then last year was a congenital heart defect. So 2 out of our 4 years have been children with cancer. But no, we did not plan it out that way. It just kind of happened. But yeah, you know, it kind of works out in our favor this month. You know, it kind of lends the ability to do some special posts and use some colors and stuff and make logos and stuff like that we wouldn't really be able to do otherwise. So it's kind of neat.
yeah, for sure. So the Cancer Awareness Month is nationwide. There's actually events going on across the country. So I'm really, really excited what your guys are doing here. So the Tangier Classic committee, as you mentioned earlier, worked really hard to figure out who would be the beneficiary of this year's donation. So I hope I don't get the name wrong. Lakeland Drameen?
Yeah, Lakeland Drain. Yep, you got it.
All right. So she's 4 years old, beautiful young girl. She was diagnosed with highly aggressive form of brain cancer called DIPG. This particular form of brain cancer is inoperable and has very limited treatment options. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, I think that basically it's limited to trials, which she's been on a couple of. I think the first few did not do much. The one that she's on now, I couldn't tell you what it's called without looking. But it seems to be, she had a rough spell just until recently. And I think they just started they just did the second treatment, I think maybe last week. And she actually returned to school today.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, now I think I think that her mom is staying with her. So it's, you know, it's not quite to the normal school day or anything like that, but she's at least able to go, which is a big step. So, but she's had a lot of issues with speech and eating and stuff like that here lately. And I think some of that is starting to come back. I'm not sure if she's able to speak yet.
I didn't see where she was yet, but I don't want to get that wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I know that that's been one of the big things, that she hasn't really been able to vocally speak. And I think that they're really hoping that this newest trial, this second or third treatment at this point, is going to get that fixed.
Yeah.
Is there a link or something that people can go directly to and donate to this cause?
So we have a link on our website for donations, actually. Just www.tangierclassic.com. There should be a page in there. Mm-hmm. I don't want to tell you wrong.
Yeah, there's a click on link right in there, along with all the other ones that we have that says donate.
So if you just click the menu button, the 3 lines, top left corner on my phone, I'm not sure what it looks like online, but halfway down it says donate, mm-hmm. and that's all you need, really, and it'll take you right through the rest of the process from there.
Yeah. Well, the medical bills alone, I was reading, exceeds $300,000. So
some of the trials do, yes. I'm not sure what the current trial is, but I know that we kind of took an average of all the different because when we first met with them, they hadn't started any trials. They're like, this is one we can do. This is one we can do. It all depends on how things go with some other thing. There's a lot of uncertainties, I guess. And like I said, they've been through a couple different ones. I'm not sure, what the current cost is, but they are upwards, if not more than $300,000.
Well, I put out the number because I want people to understand, and I'm sure, just generally people understand that these things are costly. But costly in price, costly to, their home life, this beautiful young girl. The Tangier Classic to me now represents a lot more than fishing. It's hope that you guys are giving these people. And I'm not going to cry. Yep, I'm going to cry. It's okay. I can.
But
talk.
I mean, Lakeland, if you're at home watching this, or if anybody knows her, everyone at the Fishing Channel, obviously Brad and Adam, are rooting for you. So,
yeah.
You can do this. You got this, girl. And if you're speaking, say, heck yeah, I got this. And if you're not yet speaking, then we look forward to the day where you do say, heck yeah, I got this. But we're all rooting for you. And I'm sure that this is something you can beat.
Yeah. So, being a parent and also have lost a child myself, I can only imagine how much encouragement you've given to the family and everyone in previous tournaments, because you said the people who are in the tournaments, the sponsors, are really just the foundation of what you can do in this area. So that's just amazing. So I'd like to ask, though, can you tell us more about this? Well, you've already told us enough about this young lady. How did the proceeds from this event help the family? What have you seen in how this has helped the families deal with these devastating tragedies? And how can the outdoors fishing community give more to help you in this area?
So in our first year, we had Lane Dotson, and he was diagnosed with diabetes and leukemia. So he actually needed a diabetic service dog to kind of normalize his life. And they had already started the process, but they were able to use the funds that we raised to purchase the diabetic service dog, of which is, I would say, probably his best friend at this point.
Yeah.
As far as the following recipients, I think they use it in various ways. All these appointments obviously cost a lot in transportation,
Travel.
and a lot of the hospitals do offer up discounted or free stays, but that's only if they aren't full.
Correct.
And if you're going so much, you're bound to run into a situation where the Ronald McDonald House or something similar doesn't have space. And then they offer a discount at some hotels, but it's still $100 some a night or something like that. So you got toll fees back and forth. I know Scott Drillette, which is the father of our beneficiary from last year, had told me they had racked up like $300 some in tolls in no time. So there's a lot of hidden costs that people don't really think about. And I think a lot of the times it helps with that kind of stuff. It's not always a service dog, but there's a lot of different things that it can help with. So,
and of course, looking long term as well, we could always run into a beneficiary a certain year that has mobility need, where it could go directly to mobility equipment that may not be covered by the family's insurance. So the future is full of possibilities, and there's always going to be people in need. So we're here to fill that gap, no doubt about it.
I'm sure.
It's great work that you guys do.
Thank you.
Sure. We have a question coming in from Phil Green. Phil asks, any words of advice for individuals new to the angling world and that want to participate in the tournament, but are kind of anxious, nervous, shy to do so?
Yeah, I can understand.
No reason to be any of those things. We're, at least for our tournament, I would say no tournament really, but we have every level of angler from, we've literally had kids fishing off the rocks right there at the Legion, all the way up to some guys that, are formidable opponents. But we've had some people that have placed or won that have really had very little experience. We try to structure the tournament that is challenging, but also you can fish at any level and still be in the running.
Yep.
You know, to go take some of the bigger categories might be tough if you don't have a whole lot of experience, but there's something that our tournament can cater to any level, really. So,
And I will say this, Brad's hit the nail on the head there with that. Also, you know, you will not find I'm just telling you, you will not find a friendlier, family focused fellowship activity, you know, whatever you want to say, during our tournament. I mean, we have a lot of fun.
we love it. We have a neighbor of mine that had really not fished at all, and he took a not
right.
fishing kayak out, and he was sending us all kinds of pictures. I don't know what this is, but here you go. And the judges were having a good time with him. I think they might have been one of their he might have been one of their favorites in the tournament. But you know, there's no reason to be worried about competing or anything like that. You know, you're not. It's not like you're up, you know, front and center on a stage or something like that. It's you're out on your own or with friends or whatever, and just have a good time.
And we got so much to do on the side as well. I mean, there's people that literally have told me they don't really care if they catch a fish in our tournament at all. It's a full-blown vacation party weekend for them to just have fun, good food, enjoy the cornhole tournament, auction, all that stuff. And fishing is just a benefit, you know, it's just a side thing to it, really. We have anglers that take it very seriously, sure, but come on. We'd love to have you. Absolutely.
Well, have you guys been in touch with, you know, Jane's Island or people around that area to see if, you know, if someone hasn't made any plans yet?
Oh, well, so Jane's Island gets booked out a year in advance now.
Yeah, they may have like some tent sites.
Maybe
I'm not sure. I know all the water, anything that has water and electric is definitely booked. They might have some tents, maybe some small camper sites or something like that. But they actually did contact us. I actually need to email her back, but they were talking about maybe doing some stuff for families that are, you know, where the husbands or the kids or whatever out fishing. Maybe the younger kids and the moms or vice versa can hang out and do some crafts and go on kayak tours. And I'm not sure what they've decided to do, but they had mentioned wanting to do something like that. And then obviously we have Roadway Inn, which is Hitesh Patel, and he's redone the whole hotel. It's much nicer than it was for a very long time. We actually get some rooms there every year for the Heroes on the Water guys and some of our own people. But yeah, they're nice little rooms right there, 100 yards from the marina and the boat ramp. And then Summers Cove Marina is also doing some stuff for anglers. I think they're going to waive the fee for the ramp. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it sounded like that's probably what they were going to do. I think there is one other motel down there. We haven't really contacted them, but
isn't American Legion also, besides being home based, don't they offer rooms limited or space of some kind? I thought I read that on the website.
So yeah, the American Legion does have a very limited number of campsites. They are, I know for a fact, they're all booked up. Typically, they are booked up well in advance because there's really not many of them.
Yeah.
But
I think they have 12 sites.
Yeah, that's all they've got. It's just 12 little campsites. But yeah. In addition to being our headquarters, I mean, the American Legion is just best sunset in the state of Maryland, hands down. I don't think you can beat it on that back porch with a drink in your hand and nothing like it. So. And we have our live music, our stage set up back there.
Sunset's right behind the live music. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, if you haven't seen that sunset and you hadn't been to that area, I can't quite recommend it enough.
No doubt about it.
But running a tournament like this, I've always been kind of jealous and wondered, like, you guys must hear just like the most amazing stories. You know, you're kind of the center piece to like all these people coming back and bringing stories with them from the water. Can you share something that has really stuck with you guys over the 4 years of doing this tournament?
Got some funny pictures.
Yeah, definitely funny pictures.
That's the one benefit of being a photo tournament. We get some people that like to be funny. Send us some good ones, but
or leave something in the picture that they probably weren't intending to share, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Some of that happens, yeah.
Or they just goofy stuff.
Yeah, goofy stuff.
I wish I could show you, but we actually put memories in our we do like a full on magazine in our handbooks. It's like 40 some pages, 8.5 by 11 glossy magazine, and we have like 4 pages of memories pictures from the previous year. Every year, and I was just making them yesterday, and it was pretty funny seeing some of the stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So. As far as like a particular story, I knew there was last year. There was a couple of kids that ran way south in some really crappy conditions and did really well. That might have been the year before. I can't remember. It all kind of runs together.
Run together.
Yeah, you got me there. I'd have to sit and think about that one for a minute. Honestly, the two of us are running around so crazy. The judges would probably be more of the ones to ask those questions, but.
Well, I mean, it's a fishing tournament, so maybe we can jog your memory a little bit with just like, the type of fish that have won the tournaments in past years. Like what have been some of the memorable fish that have been caught?
I think it was last year we finally got our legal cobia and black drum.
Legal cobia.
We've had some
big
sheep's
reds.
head. Yep, big giant reds every year.
Big sheep's head. Yep.
Yeah. And this isn't an eligible species, but we had a huge pompano. Like, was it CL?
Was it CL? Marshall called that 2 years ago.
And it was massive.
Big pompano.
For here.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like that these southern fish just keep moving up into our water.
How about the Kubera snapper that was speared off of Ocean City in 30 feet of water? Saturday. Yeah. 64-pound Kubera snapper.
Speared.
And for those that don't know about that fish, where is a Kubera snapper normally harvested?
Robert Field's lap in Panama. Yeah, I mean, but
It's
they
kind of
Florida,
funny
Florida, Georgia. Yeah,
looked it up, and it shows the range to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, they could go up there.
Seems a little bit of a stretch to me, but I would say definitely south of the Carolinas, easily.
For sure.
So, but yeah, he told me about it. I was like, man, I don't know about that. Then I saw it myself. I was like, wow.
That's got to be crazy, because if you're spear fishing and you're gonna, let that spear loose, you got to be darn sure what you're shooting at.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
the guy must have probably had to take like 3 or 4 looks to be absolutely sure.
I mean, you got to figure he wasn't offshore that far either, right? He was really near shore, so that water's not that clear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who knows, man? He might have thought it was I don't know what species that size is even eligible.
I guess maybe a black drum.
Black drum, yeah.
Maybe.
Wow. You must have had hook optics on.
Yeah.
Underwater. That's their new line.
But you never want to be that guy that's like on Facebook that has a dead fish and he's like, "Can I get a fish ID on this?"
Oh, that's the good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I know Kubera snapper. I know what they are, but if I saw one and I was down there, I'm not sure I would have known.
No, I mean, it's like it's so out of its zone. It wouldn't register, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like if I was up on, in our area and I caught a mangrove snapper, right?
Yeah,
right.
I'd probably be like, what kind of weird looking black sea bass is that?
Yeah.
When of course, if I was in Florida, I'd be like, oh, that's a mangrove snapper, right?
Exactly. We've had some awesome submissions and
some good flounder last year. Yeah,
definitely.
Which is getting more increasingly rare in the bay.
Right.
But we had some good flounder. Had literally just about everything. I think we've got 14 species or something
eligible
that are eligible, and every year we have something come in that was like, that's not an eligible species, but that is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we had just about everything covered, but they surprised us. So
there was a video, one of your videos. Everyone, I definitely recommend checking out the website. It's enjoyable, it's user friendly. But there was one video where a gentleman, he was in the shallows, he was in grassy area, and he caught a shark. He was catching small fish, and I remember that video, and he caught a shark.
Yep. So that shout out to Lindsay for making the website. We do everything in house here.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay's kind of like she's technically our logistics coordinator. She does all of our tech stuff. But that was actually her husband who took some of the vets. Yeah. I think they were firemen, maybe.
Yep.
And he had Andrew Talls for Outdoors Delmarva on the boat, and I believe that was the first year.
That was year one.
And they were catching in a little creek, and a bull shark just appeared out of nowhere.
What kind of shark was it?
We're assuming a bull shark.
Yeah.
Probably. Very likely.
But I think he said it was like 4 or 6 foot long.
That brings me to the next question. And we're going to get into the kind of meat and potatoes of this tournament now. How far south was that, and how far south is the range of the Tangier Classic?
Good question.
So our tournament is open to the entire Chesapeake Bay and its tidal tributaries, going all the way up and then going down to the Bay Bridge Tunnel, right? And our line just slightly comes out on the southern side of the tunnels themselves, all the way over to Virginia and then back up again. So technically,
you could kind of be fishing Virginia Beach, or sort of like the northern side of Virginia Beach, or
yeah, you could if you want to run that far. You just got to launch. For power boats, Wycomico, Somerset County, Maryland, Accomack County, Virginia,
and we do have one ramp in
Worcester County that leads out to the Pocomoke Sound. And then if you're a kayak angler, different story.
Yeah, kayaks can launch anywhere, so they have a little bit more freedom. Obviously, have a little less range.
Yeah.
So they can drive straight to the Bay Bridge Tunnel and launch from Kip to Peak and fish that whole fishery. That opens up spadefish, sheep's head, flounder, which are all eligible species. So
Spanish mackerel.
That's a really cool, kind of advantage to sort of level the playing ground a little bit for kayakers. They don't have the restrictions on launching.
Right.
Well, of course, the kayakers don't directly compete with motorboats for the general entry, but for Calcuttas, they do.
Right. Okay.
That was going to be one of my next question. Also, it's a photo competition, right? And there's an app. Is that right?
Yep. Lindsay again, Lindsay Mason, she is a whiz with the electronic stuff. And she came up with our app that literally does everything now. You register, submit your photographs, all that. And the app takes your permissions from your phone. You get your fish on your board. You got your daily identifier in there. Snap away. Yeah.
Rules
winds,
right
tides,
there. Winds, tides, weather.
Wow.
It's literally, it's pretty
seamless.
Full inclusive. Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome.
So for those of you who haven't fished a tournament like this before, daily identifier is usually something like,
right on your
if they wanted to, be silly and say, Brad's the man, right? You'd write Brad's the man, and then you'd have that in the photo, and that just prevents, people from cheating. It seems to me in tournaments like this, I mean, you got to have things in place for people not to cheat. But I know in the CCA tournaments, there's doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of cheating going on. I would imagine the same is probably the case for yours.
Yeah. So we like to call ourselves a catch photo tournament. We're usually here at catch photo release. If somebody wants to keep their fish, we have no problems with it. We do like to try to push the conservation type deal, but we do actually have a judge on site. And if you're not tech savvy, or you're going to keep your fish and you prefer that experience, we do allow people to come up and we'll measure the fish for them. I would say it happens twice a day for the 3 days, maybe. It's very few times. I think a lot of people are releasing these fish, which is cool. Obviously we have to get a permit through the state for rockfish to be included, and all that data that we collect from our app, it gets transferred to a spreadsheet, and we can send that whole spreadsheet over to them. And it includes not just rockfish, but everything that was caught, not just fish that were submitted. I mean, not just fish that were contenders, but everything.
Yep. So
DNR has emailed us like, thank you. That's really, really cool. All they require is us to fill out the rockfish, but it's pretty neat to be able to send all that information and hopefully they can use it.
Yep.
That's great data.
That's awesome.
Great
That's
data.
very unique. There's a lot of unique things about this tournament. Very different from others. Yeah.
So, Adam, can you tell me, how does somebody win the tournament? I know there's a lot of Calcuttas, but
you got to ask somebody that actually knows how to fish, man. I don't know. I mean,
not this guy. How do you win Calcuttas?
Yeah.
Which Calcuttas are there? How do you win the big thing? What are the big things? All that.
Sure. So, of course, you've got your first, second, and third place for your powerboat, kayak, and kids. That's building your 2-day stringer. And as we've talked about before, we're a 3-day tournament where you have to lay at least 1 day, and that is also on the app. You choose your lay day.
One thing worth mentioning is if we do have some people that have fished in the past, we have changed how we allow the stringer to be built. It
Right.
used to be we followed everything by the Maryland regulations. The one unique thing about the photo tournament is we don't have to necessarily follow
Possess
Maryland
that
regs.
fish.
That's
Right.
obviously up to the angler to do that. But we are now allowing 3 of any eligible species, excluding a couple of the big ones that we don't allow to be in the stringer. So you can now have 3 rockfish instead of 2, which would be your 2 days of fishing, 1 fish each. We've increased that to kind of make it a little bit easier for some of the less experienced fishermen that don't know how to go find the big reds or don't know how to find the sheep's head or whatever. They can still go out and have a good time to kind of, refer back to the gentleman that asked the other question about not being as experienced.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We try to keep it balanced.
But there's definitely, and on that, what Brad just said is true, right? So because we're a catch photo tournament, the angler can release that fish. Previously, we had said, Maryland says you can only have 1 keeper striped bass in your possession per day. We just want your photograph. We are not asking you to possess that fish.
Right.
So you can have 3, eligible species. So
we can therefore include bull reds. We
Right.
can include cobia, which is actually closed during that time period in Virginia. So there's a lot of things that we can do being photo that we couldn't do if we weren't. So
exactly. But the strategy that comes into play to win it is building that stringer to get the most inches you can get out of the species that you have over those 2 days. Now, of course, you can call out photographs you don't want and you upgrade a fish or select a new, or you've upgraded not only the fish you caught the day before, you upgrade those inches the next day, you're going to call something out or hold on to it like you're playing poker, right? Same kind of scenario. The Calcuttas typically are self-explanatory because most of the time they're biggest fish, right? We do have even though we don't do a weighted tournament, we do have what used to be called the heavyweights.
yeah, let me.
Brad's gonna pull it up really quick.
There's a
There's
bunch.
a lot.
I
There's
don't
a
want
lot
to get
to
it
it.
wrong. But we have the 2 day stringer, which is just a duplication of
First, second, and third.
the
It's whoever
general
has.
entry. We have heavyweights, which is there's 4 species we include in that. That would be cobia, black drum, red drum, and rockfish. Rockfish has to be over 28. Drum have to be over 27. Cobia over 40, and black drum over 16. So it truly is not just barely legal. Like we're requiring it to be the larger species, and we were kind of concerned that somebody wouldn't make it happen, but
They did.
we did. We had a couple people, I think, that actually succeeded in doing that.
It's got to be a drum or a cobia every year, isn't it? I mean, like this time of year,
Well, you actually have to have two.
Got to have 2 of those qualifying species in that particular Calcutta. So that one's a challenge, right? But people are doing it because even if they may not get the cobia, if they can get a 29-inch striper, all right, 27 plus inch red, they've got 2 qualifying species there.
Wow.
They get that third, and again, that's one of those also Calcuttas where if you and I have the same number of inches, Grant, but I've got a third eligible species and you've only got 2. I'm going to take that because I've got the third eligible species in the.
Got it. Yeah, I mean,
So
this year I can
strategy,
go ahead
man.
and tell you guys, you're going to have somebody score 2 bull reds. I mean, it's like,
yeah, it happens.
and then they need a third, is what you're saying?
So we allow 1 of each of those 4 species, but you have to have at least 2. So you'd have to have like a bull red and a black. To
I
even be
guess I'm a little slow. Yeah,
Yep, and then, or you'd
they
have
probably
to,
said that 3 times. So.
All right.
or a cobia and a bull red
Yeah.
would do it. That would probably be somebody
the
could make
killer.
that happen.
Yeah.
They probably won. So
Yeah, I was on my boat. It was like 2 weeks ago, and my buddy and I doubled up cobia and redfish. So
that's cool.
Saw those pictures, man. They were actually pretty sweet looking.
You would have been a contender.
That was supposed to be our trip too. I could have landed a nice one.
There you go.
He didn't take you?
No.
Oh, what is up with that? Come on, Grant.
coulda, shoulda, woulda. I'm just thank Carl. You are the man because you
gosh.
asked a question
Uh-oh.
right at the perfect moment
Woo.
to get me out of.
There you go. Segue.
I was squirming. Carl, I knew you were my kind of guy.
Oh man, look at
Carl
that.
says, "How could one volunteer to help out with the tournament if they wish?"
Come
Damn,
on,
that's a good
Carl.
question. I know.
Carl, thank you so much. And listen, we we will be putting out a post here pretty soon on Facebook. I'd say within the next week and a half.
Probably.
We put out a post every year to ask for volunteers. And then as we get towards tournament week, we have a volunteer meeting. One of the things we do is we offer an in-person captain meeting every night of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, during the week of the tournament. That way everybody has an opportunity to make one of those meetings. We obviously need volunteers for that. But during our event, Friday night, Saturday during setup, the auction, there's all sorts of stuff we need hands for, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers. So Carl, you, your family, anybody else, please reach out to us. The easiest thing to do is to shoot us a message on Facebook or send us an email, tangierclassic@gmail.com, and give us your contact information and keep your eye out on a post on Facebook. And we would love to have you come down to fish. And for anybody that wants to volunteer to help out, you can still fish our tournament and still be a volunteer. I mean, Jim Cooper said howdy earlier. You know Jim very well, obviously, Maryland Howe. He comes down every year and fishes. He's actually staying with me again this year during the tournament.
Nice.
But he'll fish his fair share on Saturday, and then he'll come volunteer for the rest of the evening. So it's a great time, and we certainly need volunteers, no doubt.
That's awesome. I have two questions. Are there volunteers helping children? Does that work into that with helping children? You mentioned some people are bank fishing and other things. Are there?
Historically, I think we had, honestly, to be what it was some of us that ran the tournament couldn't fish, so our kids fished from the bank because we were at the region. But we don't, as of right now, I don't think there's a way for that to happen really. If we were to add something in the future to have like a separate thing where kids were fishing for a couple hour period of time, that would be the case, yes. Sure. But currently, most of the kids that are entered are fishing with their dads and uncles or whatever, on their boat. So right this minute, not so much.
We've done with the kids derbies, like you said earlier, Anastasia. What we've done is actually the city of Salisbury reached out to us.
I read that,
right, to help them with the fishing derby, and then of course with the whatever festival that was, Riverfest. Yeah, we helped them out down there as well. So that was an opportunity for us to help youth learning how to get into fishing. But
that's awesome.
And for the tournament, we got a lot. We'll use as many people as we can get.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned something that it might be something you could do in the future, which is a perfect segue to the next question, which is, what do you envision for the future of the Tangier Classic?
That was my second question.
Oh,
that's okay. It's on the paper.
I'll let the president take that one.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just trying to get through the day. Everything's kind of crazy. What do we see in the future? I think.
I mean, is there like an app where you can be Brad or Adam, fishing?
Oh, that would be awesome,
Tangier Classic game.
Yeah.
I think that we
based on where you guys have gone in 4 years, I can only imagine give you 4 more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're at the point now where we're starting to consider not more tournaments by any stretch. We don't have time for that, but doing more in the community besides having a fishing tournament. So, like for instance, we've had 3 roadside chicken cooks this year, and we'll probably start to do those and pick a different calls each time. So we're just trying to branch out and to do more, spread it out more, I guess, would be the thing. Nothing major, not like a second tournament in the spring, right? We've had a lot of people come to us about that. And as much as I think we'd love to be able to do it, it takes us all year to play in this one, basically.
Sure. You gotta,
as far as
spread out the quality.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And as far as the tournament goes itself, I think we want to see it continually grow. Every year we kind of have a goal in mind. Last year it was 300 people, and we had almost 340. This year we're shooting for 350. It's a little bit of an off year, I think. Fuel prices and things like that are making people a little gun shy with registering. That we change how registration works. We're doing team registrations, so things are they're moving right along. I don't know that we're going to set any records this year, but I think we'll meet our goal, and that's just small goals every year, and I think we're going to try to meet those and
Yeah.
just continue to donate more and spread the wealth through the, or not the wealth, but spread the love through the community as much as we can.
Yeah, we've definitely improved our processes every year a little bit better to make it more
efficiency
seamless.
Is definitely
Efficiency
a goal.
is it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing amazing things, and I have no doubt that every year is only going to get better. One important question, though: how do people register?
Can you still register?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the better question. Yeah.
So there's 3 ways. You can register on the website, www.tangierclassic.com. I think there's a big banner right at the top that says register now. You can download our app on iOS or Android, just simple Tangier Classic. Same idea. It looks very similar to the website. Should be a register now button. Or we don't prefer this method, but you can register at the captain's meetings, which Adam mentioned will be the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. 3 of which are at the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 111 in Salisbury. And the 4th one will be at the American Legion, Post 16 in Crisfield, right the night before we start fishing on Friday.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. We had a couple of people ask some questions. Do we have time, or we crunch for prize?
We're not. We just had some comments. Carl just wanted to add awesome work, guys. Hoping he's able to fish it and help out this year.
Right on, Carl.
Shore Sharp says, I know Bay Country Crabbing Supplies also sells our shirts. We're small world,
right?
So, yeah, I think he's talking about Bay Country, the radio station, which is also, they're playing our radio segment because they're also our official media sponsor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's Bay Country.
Yeah. I sound really Western Shore right now, don't I?
Oh man, that's funny.
I know Bay Country, the radio station.
There you go. Coast Country.
Plays your segment a lot during the day. You're making a difference in helping a little girl.
Yeah.
My hat's off to you guys. Yeah. If you just joined the show, I would urge you guys, go on to tangierclassic.com, go to the link to donate. Lakeland and her family really need your help. Yeah. It's really important work that they're doing. She's got a rare aggressive form of brain cancer. And she's on a trial that appears to be working, but that family is going to need a lot more help. So, for sure. Tangierclassic.com. They've got a link on there to donate. This is, money that would really go to a fantastic cause, and I urge you guys to do so.
Yeah, this is huge.
Everything we raise stays local, so that's one of the things we pride ourselves on for sure.
Yeah. Well, do we have any other questions, or are we going to the prize?
If anyone has a question, you better break out those high school typing skills real quick. Get that thing in there because we're about to do our drum roll and let these fellas choose the best one. So we'll give you guys a couple more seconds. But how have you guys been fishing recently? You guys been out much? Any notable catches?
Well, you've been offshore a little bit here lately, getting on some
not this past week, 2 weeks ago, I guess we did a little bit of flounder, wreck fishing, and mainly mahi fishing and inshore around the gear, and we did really well. We did smaller fish, but we had a blast. Took my kids out.
Yeah, saw that.
2.5, almost 3-year-old son caught one. I mean, he didn't hold the rod, but he did crank the handle.
I saw him. He was so cute.
Yeah, and my daughter was 11, and she caught several on her own, so that was cool. Yeah. It was both of their first times out more than a couple miles. That's my most recent excursion, I guess.
Yeah, me and my wife went yesterday for the afternoon, and it was hit or miss, but the water temperature was still pretty high in the shallows. So, hopefully this week with the weather, calm it down a little bit. But took my youngest the week before, and I'm not going to take him on my boat anymore because he just outfishes me every time anyway. There's no point,
Barely trying, right?
Yeah.
Does the fish come to him?
I mean, that's the point, that he gets better than you.
Oh, that's for sure.
But not at 3. Or how old is he?
Oh, you're talking about Williamson? No, my 15-year-old. He
okay. Well, 15 is still young to have eclipsed you.
Yeah.
He started his career as a kayak angler and has been such for a long time. So he had to.
I think it was last year I came up and picked him up from the Legion.
That's right.
We hadn't hardly caught a fish all day. We went up to a creek like half a mile away and caught a 20-something inch rockfish like first cast. I was like, what?
He's the whisperer, man.
Yep.
Some
Whisperer,
people just have it.
Yeah.
Carl,
You got it.
there's an it factor in a lot of things in life. Fishing has a crazy it factor. My brother hates fishing, but like if he's bored sitting there reading his book on the dock, and he's like, "Fine, I'll cast once."
Really? Wow.
Dude.
All right.
Every freaking time, throws it out there,
Do you
hooks
have a
up.
photo of that? I'd love to see it.
He would. He's
Wow.
a lawyer. He probably wouldn't let me take
That's
a picture
true.
of him.
That's true.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
We're gonna cut off the questions now. Carl has 2 that came in real quick. He says, "How's the tuna been this year for you, Brad? And how's the new boat?"
Oh.
New boat's great. Having a small issue at the moment, but it's back up and running hopefully this week.
Boat.
Yeah, it's a boat, right? Yeah. Kind of was a surprise, but it is what it is. But tuna's been not great. We had like 2 trips that we caught a couple, but other than that, everything was super late. The fuel prices were so high, it wasn't worth making the runs.
Gosh, yeah.
I think we've only been like 4 or 5 times, so definitely not normal. But
well,
that's the experience I had.
Lady C had a.
Yeah, nothing. Actually, I got hooked up on a really big tuna. It was going to be the winner, of course. It got off the hook. It took almost all the line out. Tried to pull it in. It was playing for a while, and then it took off, and then it was completely dead. And I know from the charter captain, he was saying that everyone that day was really struggling. It was almost in the final hour that someone caught the winning fish, maybe like 20 minutes before the end. That's how it always goes.
Yeah, it's been, I'd say 90% of days everybody struggled this year.
Yes.
There's been some really good days, but it's like in the middle of the week when nobody's out. Well, less people are out there, and I haven't been there those days, I guess. So,
yeah. Well, let's we got a hat and some awesome Tangier Classic apparel to give away. So let's do a little drum roll.
Yep.
So I think our selection was the Carl's question about how to be a volunteer.
Carl!
Yeah.
Carl is on a roll. I said last week, I was like, Carl, you don't have to go to tackle shops anymore. Because like the last 2 weeks, he's probably won.
He's won like 3 times, and he's won really amazing. I think he's got the $20 the Hook Optics gift certificate. He's got a lot of BKD gear. He's got a lot going on for him, Carl.
Anyways, Carl's a great guy. You guys don't have to feel bad about having a repeat winner.
No, it's good.
I think it's the first time we've had a repeat winner on this show.
Yeah, he asks good questions. He really is engaged and involved. And on, Carl. Good job.
And we already have his address.
There you go.
Well.
Sorry we didn't have it with us tonight, but
they're being printed. They're being ordered. Well, they've been ordered.
Hopefully next week.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Carl, I can assure you these guys do make some amazing apparel.
Yes.
Brad, Adam, thank you guys so much for making the time.
We are so honored to have you on the show and really share this with everybody. I'm just in awe of what you guys are doing and how you're blessed in doing it. So thanks for being on the show with us.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
If you just tuned in, watch the recorded version. Lots of information for who this tournament is benefiting. It's a young lady named Lakeland.
Beautiful name.
And go onto their website. There's tons of information about that.
Yeah.
And do something good, make a difference today.
Right on.
And donate.
Get out there and fish. Sign up for the tournament. Yeah.
Any last words from you?
No, like I said, I'm just really honored. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens year after year with what you guys are doing, because I say that, like you're really blessed in what you're doing. It's just going to grow. It already has. It's almost like you're a household name. Like you said, you went to a store or a restaurant and people are like, oh, I know that guy, and I know the tournament, and I got the old hat. And, it's going to be great. It's really going to be great. So I'm really excited for you guys.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
4 years, you guys are killing it. You want to close this out with anything?
We want to see everybody that we can in Crisfield.
Yep.
for a party atmosphere. I'm telling
Fishing
you.
or not, even if you don't fish, come buy some fishing trips and some gear, and we got some pretty cool auction items. So and raffle items.
Yep.
What's the goal? What's the goal this year? 400 people? 500?
Yeah, I mean, that would always be
That'd
awesome.
be cool.
But I think
Gotta
our
order some more
goal
chicken.
is we usually try to increase about 50 a year. So last year our goal was 300. We're saying 350 this year, and I think we'll do it.
Yep, no doubt.
Well, guys, I mean, we've been talking a lot about the cause, but I think you two have also done a really good job shining light on how fun this event
Oh,
is.
for sure. Unique,
So,
fun, amazing.
awesome.
All these great things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been slapped, so we haven't even figured out a place to stay yet. But we're going to figure it out, even if we have to make it a day trip to just come lose at cornhole. But
I love that. Yeah. it'd be
Come
fun.
hit up Hitesh at the Roadway Inn there by Summers Cove Marina. He probably has a room still open.
what is it called?
The Roadway Inn
Roadway
in
Inn.
Chrisfield, right there at Summers Cove Marina.
It's on their website. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's one of our sponsors, and he's completely renovated that hotel.
Well, we don't want to keep you much longer. You have families and children to get back to. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Really
Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
Have a good night.
All right.
Take care.
Sean.
Got off in town, resident on 70 Road. Got a nice wife and kids, y'all right inside the grove. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yeah, I should know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go through the pen. Mr. Clark is a lawyer, he could lie stream. He the first man to prove dead, water run upstream. That's why I like Mr. Clark. Yeah, I should know he is my friend.